Welcome back, everyone, to the Garden Campaign. 1915, almost to the end of the year. Last time we broke through, we finally took out the Cologne pocket, and now we are trying to run rampant through central Germany, which might or might not work. Okay, so it looks like the Germans are trying to cut us off, or cut off our cavalry mostly, by taking Bielefeld. You should do that, and then you're gonna reinforce just to prevent that from happening. Although I doubt that they will be able to do that. Or, they are gonna be able to. So, no. Please stop that and run back. They might not be able to defend for long enough for my cavalry to escape, actually. This could be very bad. Well, you're gonna get there in the 10th, so do that. At least the walk between Münster and Bielefeld is very quick. They should be able to get there before the Germans destroy these 4 divisions. And they should definitely be able to get there before the Germans then proceed into the province itself, before they are able to walk in. And my reinforcements should be able to stall long enough for the 18th, when my cavalry will get there. Are there 2 fleets here? I think it makes more sense to have 1 fleet. I think I just forgot to merge up the reinforcements when I sent them in. Okay, so on the eastern front, things are going not good. And on the southern front, since Italy is now in the war, it looks like Trieste wasn't taken by Italy quick enough, and now the Germans have a division there. But in general, it seems that the front is a bit of a stalemate. Nobody's losing, which is exactly how we like it. Meantime, in the Balkans, things are going okay. So we have a division in Athens now. And I think we should have naval superiority over the area. But just to be safe, I'm going to move Force J to shore bombard Gallipoli. In fact, I could also use... we're winning against the Senussi, great. But where is... I thought I had 2 fleets in the Mediterranean. Malta... Yeah, Force J and the Mediterranean Fleet. Oh, you're there, and I didn't click you. You're shore bombarding City Barani, but you're going to shore bombard Gallipoli too. Just to be safe. And then I'm going to have the West Rhine Division. That's a lot of Ottomans. I'm going to try an amphibious assault, but it's not going to work. I know that it isn't going to work. So in El Arish, we have managed to secure a breakthrough against the Ottoman forces there, which is great. And now we have some reinforcements, much needed ones in Bielefeld. Consumer goods, we don't need that much anymore because our descent was stopped. Speaking, however, of consumer goods, that means money. So we have 300 money. We could try some industrial espionage. We failed. Will it work against the Austro-Hungarians? No, it won't. That's incredibly unfortunate. Can we improve our intelligence? We lack the 500 monies, so that's a problem. I think then you can go to Münster, just in case the Germans will try to reclaim that province. So now, seems a bit of a stalemate at this point, which is exactly what we want. Airbase counter-air, excellent. That's also something we want, because now we can use our interceptor fighters even more effectively. Naval air support. Close air support concept sounds pretty okay, because that enables ground support, which is very useful. Is there anything else we can do? 1916 infantry sounds a bit more important. So Royal Small Arms Factory gets along with that. You're moving up. And yeah, so we've reached there, and unfortunately, as you can see, amphibious landing is -99. which is bad. And they have 3 divisions of infantry, so no, we will not be able to break through there. Even though our shore bombardment is quite effective, it's going to be even more effective once our second group reaches there. We are not going to be able to break through, I don't think. Our fleet in the Bay of Mecklenburg. Oh, sure. So didn't we have that second division coming in? I'm not sure. Well, so far, the Senussi are having troubles. And it looks like El Arish has been reinforced by more Ottoman forces. Not good. Yes, I did have another division coming in into Malta. I'm going to rebase you to Athens, actually. Actually, some of them have been very hardly hit. Hardly, what? Even very soundly hit. Some of the Ottoman forces. Not sure if that has been from our landing or from something else. But yes, I'm going to have to support the landings with aircraft if I want it to work. That is the main lesson I think that we need to learn from that. And I'm just going to take Force E and I'm going to go back here. So yes, that was a defeat, but I think we can do something about it. I am supposed to have some aircraft somewhere. What I want is you. So far, actually, you aren't needed, but soon enough you will. Early mechanization, very good. That was in industrial. Agriculture, to be precise. And what I want to do is I want to get the close air support concept. So that then I can use ground support, which reduces units' organization instead of strength. And of course, the reason I want that is so that I can, while I'm attacking them, I can have my ground support aircraft coming in and destroying their organization. Speaking of ground support aircraft, I'm supposed to be producing tactical bombers, and I'm going to do more of that. In fact, they're going to be very quick to produce, so I'm also going to put them up front in the priority. I'm going to reduce the priority of the Bristol Scouts. I'm going to get one more squadron of these. And these are, oh, Superior Tactician and Carpet Bomber. He's going to go ahead and be a bomber commander. We're still trying to attack mines, but it's not working, so stop that attack. And in Bielefeld, we were able to repel the Germans from the attack. So I'm going to leave the 6th Corps here. And I'm going to use them to continue raiding. But just as a sort of measure to stop any Germans coming into Hanover, because I want the units to be mostly safe in Bielefeld. As you can see, my corps that were holding the line, at first, they took a ton of casualties, so that's not very good. Now I have this fighter command now. I can bring up Switter, and he's gonna go to Thessalonica. I'm gonna redeploy him, and I want him to get air superiority. Oh, they can't get air superiority over Thrace. That's very unfortunate. What I would love to have is this airfield, but unfortunately that is not possible. Your range is 150 kilometers. What is the range of my bombers? 400, so they're not going to have any problems bombing the area. At least. Defeat in Mainz. Oh yeah, right, we knew. What was that? Oh, the pigeons. Okay, sure. More carrier pigeons? Yeah, that's okay. That's a 1916 tech, however, and so we can probably get something a little bit better for this day and age. Infantry, engineers, supplies, naval doctrines, basic amphibious warfare. Yes, let's get that. That requires naval engineering, small unit tactics, and infantry focus. Do we have anybody that can do small unit tactics? Yes, the Secret Intelligence Service and the Royal Marines can do that as well. And I'm going to do the Secret Intelligence Service. And that's going to increase the maximum amphibious size to 2. Still trying to break through the Senussi lines and recapture our territory in the area. In El Arish, the Ottomans are pouring in more troops. And they have... Oh no, okay. So we have managed to take El Arish finally. And we're also going to be able to defend it, which is excellent. Oh no, not the transports. Okay, perfect. So we have a fairly decent force here together. We're going to use them soon. Our fleet in Skagerrak, just a couple of German light cruisers. They're both sunk. Excellent. Okay, so you're still shore bombarding. Let's try... Wait, what? Where's my other transport? Oh, you're still coming in. Yeah. I've been spending a lot of time in September, which is, I guess, fine. Trier. Oh, the Germans have an air force. Don't I have an air force too? Well, right. There was that one little problem of my planes getting partisaned. So, yeah. Let's keep them in Hanover. Just doing a bit of a redeployment of my Royal Flying Corps. That should be pretty good. Should be able to protect both my bombers and my ground forces. Okay, at this point, the first group, who are now 3 levels of experience, they have 3 medals, lovely. You're also coming back, by the way. You're coming into Nancy to take the place of the squadron that went to fight in Hanover. You're going to do air superiority over the southern German areas, as was previously agreed. Although, the air zone here is very strange. So I guess you'll do France? Sure. And you will do ground attack in Gallipoli. To eliminate Ottoman forces in the area. Now they only have 2 divisions. So once we have lots of bombers to do ground support, we should be able to take the province quite easily. Well, maybe not quite easily, but definitely a little bit easier than otherwise. Okay, so now it's time to attack Wilhelmshaven. The Southern Command and the 11th Corps will do a support attack, so that they do not abandon Bielefeld to the enemy. At the same time, the main attack will be coming in from the cavalry and from the Eastern Command in Münster. And yes, the rest of the forces will stand put. Just the normal stuff. Okay, so how is it going to be going? marshes, which is not good, but we're actually doing pretty well. We should have some shore bombardment coming in on them. No, we don't. Oh well. Shore bombardment, we'll have summon. Do it. That should be, yeah, it's going to be helping a little bit. Minus 6.40. In fact, just to help it out a little bit more, I'm going to bring in Weymouth's ships. Except HMS Africa. That one's still repairing. It's very heavily damaged. Don't want it to be sunk in any accidents. Oh, shit. What is happening? Oh, rip. So Beiyang, China formed. That was the death of the Chinese Empire. So bye-bye, Yuan Shikai. And now we have Cao Kun with Beiyang, China. Of course, the National Protection Alliance / CPM Constitutional Protection Movement is still quite weirded out by that move, so they still control about half of the country. In the meantime, Japan's doing its own thing, and one day you're gonna be out of supplies. They still have rebel problems. You know, I wonder if I should send troops to try to take Qingdao. I'm fairly certain it would be pretty easy to do so, as seeing that there's only a militia here, and they're supposedly not getting any supplies. Who knows? So you two can get along fine, and once you're fully organized, which should be happening soon, you're gonna attack. How are the Ottoman forces here? Although, honestly, you should just try to attack right now. Just as a preliminary attempt. Then, once our bombers are complete, the real attack can begin. This is just to see how far we can get by just a normal amphibious assault. So in Lüneburg, of course, they're going to throw us back, but that was only to stop them for a little bit. And of course, that cut off Wilhelmshaven and Bremen from the rest of Germany. Which is fine considering they have, well, fine for them considering they have a ton of supplies. Whoa, is shore bombardment destroying the coastal forts, or is that the combat destroying the coastal forts? I'm not sure. Because the coastal forts are indeed getting destroyed. Well, considering how many coastal forts are in Gallipoli, I'm fairly certain that shore bombardment isn't destroying coastal forts. Because if it was, then Gallipoli right now would be a bit of a smoking ruin. In fact, it kind of would make sense to have that destroy coastal forts. So yes, as you can see, we aren't able to... although... we aren't able to win on the assaults. But I guess it's fine. And there's a minus 20 stacking penalty actually on both of them. That's annoying. Hey, at least the fortress buster from our major general should be helping our troops against the fortifications a tiny bit. So they have minus 28 instead of probably a lot more. And of course, the Ottomans are very close to Istanbul, so they can bring in reinforcements like that. Even if we are able to grind down the Ottos that are defending Gallipoli itself. So this will require a lot of preparation. In fact, what I think I'll do is I'll split up the forces taking part of the assault in the assault. The reason for that is that one unit will go in and then another unit will be following up. Although, once we have that amphibious technology, we won't really need to do that. How is Wilhelmshaven going? Pretty okay. So we are inflicting casualties and the progress is coming in fast, and Tallinn was lost to the Russians, and it looks like the front has been broken once again in the north. Tons of Russian divisions are attempting to retreat headlong to St. Petersburg, which is, of course, not the best situation possible for our Russian allies. And there's also a ridiculous amount of Austro-Hungarian forces attacking them along the Carpathians and in southern Poland. So that is also pretty bad. In the meantime, our forces near Mainz are still rebuilding from that failed offensive. And our forces near Frankfurt are pretty well off, so we can try an assault with them. So we are slowly advancing, and they brought in reinforcements from, I'm guessing, Bulgaria, because Pechotna Divizia is definitely from the Balkans, and the only ally that they have is Bulgaria. Is that true? Is it Bulgaria? Yes, it is Bulgaria. We could try to flank with the Aldershot command. See if that brings any successes. And in Lüneburg, we were finally repulsed. Although Hanover is also getting attacked, which is very bad, because it might cut off that cavalry division. I did not notice that Hanover was getting attacked. So we might lose the 2nd Mounted. In the meantime, it seems like Ellerich is pretty much under our full control. And yeah, I think we can try to move on. Unfortunately, we can't shore bombard Gaza, which is annoying. Looks like we can only shore bombard provinces with beaches. Let's see if attacking Gaza is a good idea or not. Probably not a good idea, but it might distract the Ottomans from some other front. Although they only have 1 division there, so it should be pretty easy to win. Now that Ellerich is captured, we also have the air base. So what we might do is we might transfer our navy and try to take Beirut instead of Gallipoli. Or maybe Antakya. Let's try that. Actually, can use you just to check out what's in Beirut. Couple of infantry divisions. There are a couple of infantry divisions there. We could make our assault from Cyprus. And an air force based in Ellerich should be able to hit Beirut. Would that be a good plan? I don't know. I really don't think so. Why are you not ground attacking? For for some reason he's not conducting his ground attack mission. Maybe because of weather? Weather map mode. Oh yeah, storms. Okay. Yeah, there's always that to consider as well. We're about to reach winter. So the weather is about to get much worse. And that is not going to improve our chances of using our Air Force well. And unfortunately... Oh, right. I had forgotten about my aircraft there. Damn. Not good. Not really have been microing my aircraft all that well. There's partially the excuse that... can we still not attack into you? Nope. There's partially the excuse that I'm used to Hearts of Iron 4 at this point, where you don't really have to micromanage your aircraft at all. But still. So Gaza's going okay. But it's very, very slow. And since there are storms out here... Oh no, okay, now our aircraft are doing their thing again. Defeat in Frankfurt. Oh, damn. That was a problem. I didn't really look at what was happening. Of course, the French are now attacking, and that might prove successful. Mainz was taken by the French, which is excellent. So yet another big German city falls to us. Baya. So we finally fought the enemy forces here again, and it's not doing well for the Germans. The Nigeria regiment is done, and they're big enough to be upgraded to infantry. Then I have my transport somewhere that I used to transport. Yes, transport. Yes, you. Get you over to Yaoundé. You're still repairing. And finally, it looks like we are going to be able to access our province of Bir Bailich again. There's also something happening to the Senussi. There's a partisan. So a partisan that's fighting for us, I think. Which is weird. Well, it isn't really fighting for us, but yeah. The next best thing to that. You know, the ground attack is also doing another very good thing, which is destroying the forts. Well, technically it should be destroying the forts, but it isn't really doing it. I'm guessing because the ground attack of my aircraft is just that low. It would definitely be a bit easier to attack some... Ooh. So in Gaza there's now a lot of Ottomans. There's a huge Italian fleet participating in shore bombardment in the area. Or maybe it's the French fleet. Well, it's one of those two. Which is definitely appreciated, but I don't think I'm going to be able to win now because there's land forts in Gaza. And there's just way too many Ottomans. So I'm going to stop that. You know, Bursa seems to be a very tempting target, actually. I could very easily switch my shore bombardment to Bursa. And try an amphibious assault. Along with my air forces. Oh, that's beyond the range, really. So I guess that's the only problem, is the fact that my aircraft cannot support the attack. Oh well, I'm gonna see you next time with this dilemma in the Grand Campaign. I hope you've enjoyed so far, and I'll see you soon.